So Beijing to Bangkok, how do you compare? Should you even attempt it? The quiet, understated elegance of Beijing, a city for me that is busy but never really seems to be in that much of a hurry. Beijing is organised, spotlessly clean, but can be colourful, scruffy around the edges. A city that stands proud on its achievements, a city that is understated in comparison to, I would say, the other cities in China, because Beijing gives them centre stage while looking on with that regal elegance of a proud father. Beijing doesn't need to shout out from the rooftops its position or its order. It has earned its place over thousands of years, thousands and thousands of years. But when it shouts, it does it with a whisper. And an example of that is Dashing Airport. Dashing Airport has to be experienced at least once in your life. Located, I think, 46 kilometres from central Beijing in the southern outskirts of Beijing. It's a massive starfish shaped terminal that has been built to handle more than 100 million passengers. But why visit that airport? I'll tell you why. It was designed by the Iraqi-born architect Zaha Hadid. And if you know anything about architecture, then you know of her legacy. You should search her. You will know of the buildings that she left behind in her name, and they are amazing. You will know them. Oh, and another reason to visit the airport will be because you are visiting China. And I recommend that everyone visits China. You will be amazed at what you see. So we left Dashing Airport for Bangkok Airport like a Stargate portal, taking us from minus 12 degrees at Beijing in the winter to the 30 degrees heat of a bustling, hustling, and somewhat risky Bangkok city in that wonderful, compelling country of Thailand. Bangkok Airport is easy to navigate and there's not much in it, almost every bit as impressive as Dashin. I'm a big fan of Zaha Hadid. That for me is the difference. Her design is eloquent, perfect, grand. Another thing, and it's quite extremely striking heading on the road out of Bangkok Airport towards downtown where we were staying in Siam near there. We were in a taxi that we ordered via Grab, which is Bangkok's equivalent of Didi or Uber. Not quite as eloquent, but is good. But for me, as we were driving, it was like as if someone was driving me through a real life version of Facebook. There was advertisement after advertisement, and then there was something of interest, and then there was more adverts, more adverts. That's what the road from the airport to where we were staying felt like to me. And I'm not a big fan of Facebook. I don't know why anyone uses it. It's just advert, advert, advert. So the first thing that struck me in Bangkok was how noisy it is. It feels to me that in a city of, I think, 11 million people, it feels to me that the whole 11 million people are on the move somewhere at the very same time, and they are using whatever mode of transport is available to them. And for me, it's often scooters, often in packs of 100, wave after wave, noisy. But to be fair, the noise doesn't bother me. It is a contrast, obviously, to Beijing, where the increased use of electric vehicles and bikes does calm the city down, makes it a lot more calm, a little bit like Daenerys Targaryen in Game of Thrones, just calming down that big dragon. Using EVs and electric vehicles to make that city a lot more peaceful. I find Bangkok an exciting city, and it smacks you around the head in a way that all capital cities do. I'm a city boy at heart most of the time. I like my food, and the food and service is outstanding, and everything is delivered with an almost apologetic reference to detail here in Bangkok. When I asked DeepSeek how it would describe the food, it came back with this. Thai cuisine is the national culinary tradition of Thailand, renowned for its vibrant flavours, aromatic herbs, and harmonious balance of five key elements: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and spicy. And yet, that sums it up for me. Thai food is an explosion of all of that and more. I'm a Westerner. I have a sweet taste palate that favours that sugary sweet, and you get that in authentic Thai food. And then just after you swallow that bite, you get a roundhouse kick to the jaw as the spice kicks in. There is no counter punching that spice, got to be honest. You just have to accept it and move on to the next bite with that added experience. Bangkok, it's a scrappy city. It's moments of pure splendour followed by cracked pavements, busted buildings, graffiti, peacefulness, chaos, splendour, scooters, river, boat, street, poverty, splendour, spectacular, excitement, pause, prayer, reflection, and then back on that cycle of getting stuff done and everybody moving at a high pace. Another thing I had to get used to was using and counting money. Again, for me, it's odd because in Beijing we just use WeChat, digital payments everywhere. I get used to using digital payments, but it does make, I think, the brain lazy. So counting money here was a stretch. And incidentally, did you know that up to and around the 12th, 13th century, the church banned the use of the number zero because it was the devil's work. Then the merchants came from the Far East via the Silk Road, and their impressive technical counting skills using zero and negative numbers, they took the or took advantage, I'll say, took advantage of the European merchants who weren't very good at counting. Sound familiar? If you don't believe me, search it. Use DeepSeek. Ask it, did the church ban the use of the number zero and negative numbers? You'll be surprised what you find out. Beautiful pool area here. So contradictions are everywhere in Bangkok, and I think that's what makes Bangkok such an exciting place for the foreign traveller, and they can get lost in whatever takes their fancy. And I guess many do, because there's a lot to get lost on and lost in here in Bangkok. If I had to choose between Beijing and Bangkok, I would say don't. Go and experience both. People will rush to Bangkok and they will miss out on a whole new experience traveling into China and experience everything China has to offer. They will miss out on that because of why? Because the media is pumping the fear in you. Take that plunge. Put both on your travel bucket list. You will thank me for it later. Trust me. I understand why people would travel to Bangkok. I love it. It's a full-on, fast-paced, chaotic city. I'm a city boy. I love it. There's a dance of extremes here that collide and produce something magical at one end. And if you work hard enough, search for it, you can find pockets of peacefulness. And possibly, if you're lucky and you dig real deep, you can find pockets of absolute quiet somewhere. Anyway, this is me heading to Phuket. Peace out. Take care of yourself.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long.